All right, everyone. So after many trials and tribulations with this whole recording thing, I just uninstalled the old uh, screencast and installed the new one. I'm using the free version, so hopefully you'll get this video. We'll find out. Anyway, so I promised a video about where to go and what to do for the discussion board assignment, exactly what you should be looking at. So I know most of you have completed this assignment already. However, hopefully, if you have some questions, I will be able to answer those. But real quick, if you are new and you're not really sure how to use the discussion board, the first thing you have to do is you have to click on the actual link in the discussion board. We're going to be using through our class in a couple of different locations, but the first one is 1.05. So when you click on that, what it's going to do, it's going to bring up the discussion. So as you're going to see, there's no place to like put your discussion. You have to click on the link again here. So you're clicking on the link, and then you can do down at the bottom is you can start a thread. So we're just going to do like a little test thread. So test, test. So this is you typing your information in, which we'll talk about exactly what I want you to type here in a second. You're going to post it. And then the other part of this assignment and all of the other discussion board assignments is you have to respond to other people because it kind of just gets our class more cohesive and you guys are working together. So to do that, you have to click on whoever you want to respond. So there's other students in here, obviously, that have posted, but we'll practice on the one that I'm creating now. You just reply to thread and then you hit test or reply, whatever. You type in your reply, not test, whatever your reply is, and you hit post. So with that, you have now replied and then you have your discussion there, right? So I'm going to go ahead and delete that because we don't want that in there. So now to go over what the actual assignment is about. So those of you who have been handing in the assignment here within the past day or so have been doing really well because I've made that clarification down there at the bottom of exactly what you need to have for this assignment to get full credit. But you need a couple things. So what you're doing is you're retrieving two articles, one about a former president, can be anyone you want it to be, and then an article about the current president. So obviously, Donald Trump is our current president. So then what you're going to do is you're going to consider your observation on the two pieces that you've just read. You're going to compare and contrast your former president news story with your current president news story. Share with your classmates what you have learned about the nature of news and how it has changed over time. So the focus and the emphasis here is yes, you can compare the two news stories, but what you're really focusing on is how news has changed over time. So what that means is I don't necessarily need a summary of the news articles. What I want you to do is I want you to pull and compare similarities and differences of how these news articles were produced and the type of things they have in them to make them similar and different in a news format, not necessarily a content format, if that makes sense. So some of the things that you're going to be looking at, oh, sorry. And then the other thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is think about the values and trends in journalism to inform your response. So remember, values and trends are something that you should have already looked at back in earlier lessons. The values are back in Unit 1.02. So make sure that you're referring and reflecting on those as well, okay? Those are pluses in responding to this prompt. So some of the things you can look at, has language used in news stories changed over time? Does the very definition of news or news value seem different? Does what passes as fact in news stories seem different? Is the presentation different, such as quality of photographs or enhanced multimedia? What are each of the story sources, and is there anything about or to note about the similarities and differences? So obviously, if you're researching something that was published back in the 1960s, it should be significantly different than what we are looking at now in 2019. Also, yes, pictures are going to look different. Videos, if there are even videos, are right, or could be different from the 80s to the 2000s. So you're looking at those things and comparing and contrasting. You're also looking at the language that's used. So the language certainly is going to be very different throughout a 1970s article versus a 2019 article. So you want to make those comparisons. So the important thing that you're doing while making those comparisons is that you want to make sure that when you're writing your prompt, you're referring back to the two articles that you have read. Not only referring back to those articles, but you're pulling textual evidence and you're pulling support to make sure that you're supporting your ideas and what you're saying in your response. Okay? Those articles should be very present in your discussion. You should be referring to them. You should be talking to them. And I want to see facts. So you are in a journalism class. You have to present facts. You have to back up your ideas. If you're just telling me that, oh yeah, pictures have changed because now there's black and white, and now there was black and white back in the 1950s, and now there's color photographs. That's true, but that's not presenting facts to me. That's not giving me anything from the articles that you've read. So there should definitely be you pulling that information. So if you're talking about pictures, then yes, you're describing those things, right? You're describing the pictures and you're telling me the differences between the two. You're not just being vague. So hopefully that helps. The other part of this is that you have to respond to two other classmates. You can respond to more if you would like, but at least two classmates is the minimum requirement for you to get full credit for the assignment. And make sure that you're looking at the rubric. So the discussion rubric tells you to get full credit for this assignment, what you need to do to get a partial credit for the assignment. That's what you need to do. All right. Um, and the other thing is that you need to understand that it doesn't have to be a full essay. Um, I've had a few students submit one paragraph to me, and it is short and sweet, pulling textual evidence, pulling data, pulling information right to the point, and it's a full credit assignment. I've had people write 5 paragraphs and it's still not hitting what I need for you to do. So what you need to make sure that you're doing is looking at the rubric, looking at assignment directions, make sure you're fully getting what you should be doing, okay? So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please let me know.